please, if you're a Democrat, give me some good reasons as to why this is democracy. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Legitical Response. And folks, we have just seen an unprecedented historical moment in democracy. Folks, yeah, that's what we're talking about today. Democracy. We've seen something that we've never seen before. We've had so many unprecedented historical moments in the past year that I can't even put them on a single list, right? It's utter insanity. But what the Democrats have done with Kamala Harris is insane, and folks on the right are pointing this out, and people on the left are trying once again to deny reality. That's what they are doing. Voters didn't vote for Kamala Harris. I don't know how many times I can say that, right? I've said it in videos before, but right. So everybody voted for Joe Biden in the primary. All Democrat voters that voted for Joe Biden, they didn't get Joe Biden. Joe Biden decides for democracy to drop out. And so what do the Democrats do? They just anoint Kamala Harris. Huh? Like, why not allow the democratic process to play out? The folks that are constantly screaming about democracy, go ahead and remove democracy from the equation, and the political elites step in and just anoint this person. They just put this person up there and say, this is your nominee. This is who you're voting for. You're voting against Trump, right? You're voting for democracy, but you don't get to choose who that person is. It's insane.
The vast majority of my senators quickly and enthusiastically endorsed her. So now that the process is played out, from the grassroots bottom up, we are here today to throw our support behind Vice President Kamala Harris. I'm clapping. You don't have to. It's a happy day. What can I say? Together.
They've done their best to try to keep the democratic process out of the democratic process. It's utter garbage coming from these people, and I can't stand. It boils my damn blood every time I hear them scream about threats to democracy, and this is anti-democratic and all this other garbage. It is starting to boil my blood every time I see it because of stories like this one. Check this out. North Carolina Democrats sue to reverse decision that put RFK Jr. on the ballots. So they are suing to take a choice, a democratic process, and destroy that democratic process. Why would Democrats sue to take an independent off of the ballot? This is just utter insanity. And like I said, I'm really getting sick and tired of hearing Democrats scream about democracy when they do stuff like this. They forced RFK Jr. to run as an independent. He was running as a Democrat, but they didn't allow him to get on the ticket, the Democratic ticket, to go to the primary and have voters choose on who to vote on, whether it be Joe Biden or somebody else. They did the same thing with Dean Phillips, Jill Stein, and any other Democrat that was running, right? Jill Stein is with the Green Party or whatever that is. But, Dean Phillips specifically had to battle his own party to get on the ballot. And he eventually dropped out because he can't go up against the machine. He doesn't have the resources to fight against the machine. RFK Jr. has the resources, and he is having to put up one hell of a fight just to get on as an independent. This is just utter insanity coming from these people, and I don't know how much I can stress this to people, but do you think any Democrats will watch this video and listen to what I say? No. Democrats are trying to take off RFK Jr., who is running as an independent. The North Carolina Democratic Party has challenged the state election board's recent decision to recognize a new political party that will put RFK Jr. on the state's presidential ballots. The complaint filed Thursday seeks to reverse the board's action that made We the People an official party in the presidential battleground state. Board staff last week said that supporters of the We the People turned in enough valid signatures from registered and qualified voters to exceed the petition thresholds in the state. But Democrats don't like that, y'all. They don't like democracy whatsoever. The Democrat elites, they want to choose the person that the voters are going to vote on. That is not democracy. That is not democracy whatsoever. The voters get to choose, right? Even though I understand this happens with the Republican Party as well, but at least we had 3 or 4 choices to choose from. It was Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Vivek Ramaswamy, Ron Burgum, Chris Christie. We had several choices to choose from. We chose Donald Trump. But what choice did Democrats actually have? What is utter crazy to me is that in the primary, some Democrat voters actually voted for nobody. Literally, nobody was on there, or it'd be somebody else, in protest vote. And, it's just insane to me that they still scream democracy, democracy, democracy constantly, but they're doing everything that they do is anti-democratic, y'all. It's just crazy to me. I can't figure these people out. To save my life. In the complaint filed in Wake County Superior Court, lawyers representing the Democratic Party alleged that Kennedy's campaign evaded tougher standards for independent candidates to get on the ballot, 6 times as many signatures by masquerading as a political party in violation of state law. That's right. So the Democrats in these states, the Democrats and Republicans, I should say, they have made legislation that makes it very hard for independent candidates to get on the tickets. Because why? Because they don't want any contention. They don't want an actual democratic process to play out. So they make it very hard for independents to get on. You have to get like 100,000 signatures in some places. It's utter insanity. But if you want to make up a new political party, you need many less signatures. So that's what RFK Jr. did. Because why? It is hard to get people to go out and sign a petition. 100,000 people. That's just insane. So that's what the two-party system has done. And it's very anti-democratic, if you ask me. Petition instructions for We the People stated the party's purpose was to put Kennedy on the ballot. The complaint contends, according to the Democratic Party's lawyers, that's not a permissible purpose under state law, and Kennedy needed to follow the rules for independent candidates. So what he's doing is he's trying to make up a new political party because it's much easier to get on the ballot. But these quote-unquote defenders of democracy aren't allowing him to do so because he wants to make up a political party. Who cares, right? He's going to take votes away from their guy or their gal now, right? Because it's Kamala Harris. So they're going to do everything they can. They're going to spend significant resources to fight RFK Jr. in courts to keep him off the ballot. This is just insane. Now, we've got another story to drive my point home. Check this out. Georgia Democrats file challenges to keep Kennedy and others off presidential ballot. Georgia Democrats are challenging efforts to place Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and 3 other candidates on the state's presidential ballots, part of a nationwide effort to block candidates who could siphon votes from their incumbent, President Joe Biden. Now, of course, this is a slightly older story. This is one that I almost covered a few weeks ago, but kind of didn't. But, now that I'm covering it here, we'll get to it because this is insane. While Democrats, Republicans, and Libertarians have secure places on the Georgia ballot, other parties and independent candidates must qualify. Democratic Party of Georgia Executive Director Tolupe Kevin something said in a statement that we take the nomination process very seriously and believe everyone should follow the rules, saying candidate independent Cornel West, Claudia De La Cruz of the Party for Socialism and Liberation, and Jill Stein of the Green Party have not faithfully observed the state of Georgia's election laws. They have missed numerous statutory deadlines, skipped filing fees, submitted the wrong names on the nomination petitions, and some failed to hold conventions. None of these candidates are qualified to be on the Georgia ballot. Larry Sharp is Outreach Director for American Values 2024, an independent political action committee that supports Kennedy. He said ballot access laws in states have grown draconian. That is right. The Republican and Democrat parties have made it that way because they rule the roost, y'all. They are the ones that get to state the rules, and they don't like challenges to their power. Like the article said, they don't want somebody coming in and siphoning votes away from their guy. So what do? They make the rules, they make the requirements to get on the ballot for anybody that's not a Republican or a Democrat very, very hard, very, very unfair, and very, very undemocratic. And this is so insane. Once again, the Democrat Party is very anti-democratic. The Republican Party is a little bit as well, but the Republican Party at least will give you a good choice in the primary. The Democrat Party, at least this go-round, did not do that. And as a matter of fact, I think in 2016 cheated. All right? Bernie Sanders was the obvious popular presidential candidate. But who did the Democrat elites pick as the person that they're going to force their voters to vote for? Yeah, Hillary Clinton, because the political elites decided that Hillary Clinton was the only one that could beat Donald Trump. That is insane. Spokesperson for alternative candidates say they're also seeing challenges in Delaware, Illinois, Nevada, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, and the District of Columbia. We expect to be challenged in every state that we file in this year, said Rick Lass, ballot access director for the Green Party's Stein. Bernard Tomas, a professor at Georgia's Valdosta State University who studies third parties, says such challenges are standard, even if they're unsuccessful. He said challenges bleed resources from candidates who don't have as much money to begin with. Tomas said opposition from Democrats appears more intense in 2024, though. As a matter of fact, it does, because at first we've got an old doddering man with a poor memory who hardly can walk, who can hardly talk. Voters didn't want to vote for him, so they're looking elsewhere. We want a better choice, but no, Democrat elites and Joe Biden said, no, you're going to choose me. And then when it become apparent to everybody that the emperor has no clothes, Joe Biden, in other words, and it took a lot. It took donors to actually pull funding from Joe Biden's campaign to get Joe Biden to say, okay. But did he really? Because now they're just propping up Kamala Harris, who was also part of that same ticket, instead of giving the voters the choice to choose somebody. The political elites are picking somebody and saying, here you go, here's your choice, it's this person or Orange Man. Who do you think they're going to vote for? Instead of giving them an actual democratic process, they're going to deny democracy and say, this is who you're voting for. It's fascism, folks. It's communist dictatorship. Right? It's like something in Russia or something like that, right? Like Vladimir Putin, do you think he actually has challenges? Or it's more like North Korea, right? You'll have Kim Jong-un say, oh, we need a democratic process here, so they'll get somebody to come in as opposition. But that opposition will actually even get out there and say, well, Kim Jong-un is the much better choice, so vote for him. It's like that's exactly what they're doing here. It's the same thing. They're telling the American people that we don't care who you want. We don't care at all. And they're making it very hard for anybody else to challenge them. Can these people not see what is going on? It's like they're supposed to be woke, right? They're supposed to be woke, but they can't see the forest for all the damn trees that are in the freaking way. You know, I just find it really hard to believe that more people aren't more upset with Kamala Harris just being anointed as the nominee, you know, throwing out the entire democratic process. And these people, pundits and everybody else, they're getting up there and screaming about democracy. Trump's a threat to democracy. Like, we talk about it all the time. when Democrats talk about democracy, they don't actually mean the Webster's definition of democracy. And I really, really hope that this video proves that to everybody. You know, I would beg Democrats, liberals, leftists, if you watch this video, take a step back and think about what is going on within your own party. Please. I'm not asking you to vote for Donald Trump. I know a lot of people out there hate Donald Trump, you know, for the wrong reasons, but they still do, and they are entitled to their opinions of Donald Trump, even though it's a corporate press narrative opinion. But, you know, that's fine. You want to take that route, go right ahead and take that route. But please just look at what your own party is doing to you. Once again, they're trying to be dictators by giving you a quote-unquote choice, but not letting you choose who you want to vote for. It's just insane, but I think I've rambled on for long enough on this one. I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comment section. You know, please, you know, if you're a Democrat, give me some good reasons as to why this is democracy. That's all I got for this one. I want to thank everybody for watching, and y'all try to have a good day and stay legitical. Peace.